Hi everybody, today we are going to make a film strip from scratch and we're going to put 4 pictures in it in Photoshop. So the first thing we need to do is get out a blank piece of paper. I'm going to hit Command N for or File, New, to get out a new piece of paper. I'm going to set my dimensions for 11 inches by 8.5. Make sure this is inches, not pixels. We want to get a landscape piece of paper. All right, mine gets puts a grid on it. I'm just going to hit Command H to hide that. We're going to add a color gradient to the background. So if you have red or blue or something over here on your toolbar, what I would do is hit the letter D to default your colors. And then instead of black, we're going to double click here and we're going to choose a gray. So in this strip right here, there's shades of gray, and just choose one. Say OK. Then we're going to go to your gradient tool. The gradient tool looks like a rectangle that goes from dark to light. Sometimes you may see the paint bucket because it lives in the same area. But we'll click on the gradient tool, make sure it's linear gradient, and then we're going to just draw a line from the top to the bottom, and there you go. We've got a color for our background. All right, next step is we're going to create a new layer. So down at the bottom of the layers palette, this little button right here, create a new layer. It's right next to the trash can. We're going to put a custom shape on it. So if you go to the custom shape tool, you may see the rectangle because that's the kind of the default, but at the bottom you'll see this blob. Up at the top of the toolbar or the menu bar, you'll see the last shape that you used. The default, it usually looks like the little arrow. Now I've loaded all the shapes, so I've got a lot in here, and the film strip, you may see something that looks like one frame of film, but it's actually this one over here that has 4 frames of film. This is the one we're going to use. Now, if you're not seeing these, go to this little wheel, this little gear right here, and down here it says film. And you can say, do you want to replace them or append? Append just means add to the list. So as you do that and you go down to the bottom, it adds them to the bottom. So there it is. I want to make sure that my film strip is black rather than gray. So I'm just going to cancel that for a second. The easiest thing to do is hit the letter D, like dog, default the colors back. And we want to make sure that this says shape, so that when we're drawing it, it's a solid shape and not just an outlined path. All right, so I'm going to drag a photo strip right like this. Now we need to make sure that there's room to double this. So make sure it's up at the top. If it's not, you can grab your move tool and move it up. Okay. Now what we need to do is put some photos inside of the frame. It doesn't really matter what they are. I've created a little file over here on my desktop. I'm going to go grab them. Now here's the neat thing. If you've got 4 pictures in a row, you click on the top one, hold Shift, click on the last one. You can select all of them and drag them into your project. They've got them all in here, but you load one at a time. I'm just going to drag it, and I know these are stretching, so don't worry about trying to keep it proportional. We're going to warp it anyway, so it's not going to matter that much. If you see an X going through your picture, it just means that it needs to be set, the transform. So you just hit the Enter key or the little check mark, which is at the top of the screen right up here. So I'm just going to set my 4 pictures into place. And then, as I said, each one just comes right in, so it doesn't take too long. And I could get a little bit more precise, I suppose, with trying to get them to fill, but it doesn't matter too much. You just want to make sure that you can still see these crossbars in between each one. And if you need to go back and tweak something, you just click on its layer, and you can hit Command T and transform whatever you need to fix. All right, done. Now, for some people this is a tricky part, but it's really shouldn't be. You click on your top layer. All you need to do is hold Shift and click on Shape. Basically, we want to select all 4 photos and the photo strip. So they're all selected now. Command E, like elephant, will merge them all down. So that becomes 1 layer rather than 5. So now I could move it all together instead of trying, all bits and pieces. All right, we're going to Command J. We got to copy the background layer. Command T, transform the size. We're going to grab this middle section and pull straight down. We're going to flip it upside down and we're going to make a reflection out of this. I'm going to take the opacity down to 30%. Doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't have to be precise, but you want it to be kind of grayed out like it's a reflection. All right, and then we're going to take, oh yes, apply the transformation. Take the eraser. I'm going to use my bracket keys to make it a little bigger or smaller, and I'm just going to erase off this bottom edge right here. And I'm not doing it super neat, but I'm just going to try to get rid of this little checkerboard. Well, if you make a mistake, just hit Command Z. You can do it neater. But like I said, I'm just kind of zipping through it. So just erase that out. And, all right, it's a little choppy, but it'll be okay. All right, now hold down your Shift key, click on both of these layers so they're both selected, and Command E like elephant. We're going to merge them down again. And now we're going to do one last transformation. Command T to transform. Now I'm on a Mac, so I don't have a mouse with a right click. So I'm going to hit Control click, or if you have a mouse with a right click, just right click, Control click. We're going to see warp. I'm just clicking out here so we can do that. See, you get to warp, and at the top you'll see flag, and it's going to bend it for you. The bend here is 50%, but I could make it 35, or I could make it 45. You can just change it to what looks good to you. And then we hit the check mark to set that, or hit the Enter key to set it. And then you can use your Move tool, scoot it down a little bit, and there you go. You've got a nice little film strip project. All right, save it and put it in your grading folder. Thanks.